A few years ago, I made one of the most difficult decisions and confusing decisions that I ever made in my life, and that was to walk away from my classroom. I linked the video below about quitting teaching in case you're interested in checking it out again, but if you saw that video before, you know it wasn't a decision that I made lightly. But today, I'm here to tell you, I am going back to the classroom next year, and I want to explain why. So let's go. When I left teaching, I was last teaching in West Philadelphia, and I didn't leave because I didn't love the students or because teaching was too hard. When I quit and I made that video, that's a lot of the feedback that I got was folks that thought like it was just too much, but it wasn't. I mean, there was so much more than that, and still things that I cannot talk about even to today because I don't know, I don't want to start stuff. But it did get harder. I had lost the best leadership I had ever had in my life. We had 6 principals in a 3-year period. We had 95% turnover 2 years in a row. So that means the majority, if not just about everyone, I think by the time I left, everyone that I leaned on a day-to-day basis to be able to do the things that I did had all left. And look, folks, I say it all the time, teaching is a communal activity. But if that community is not there, then it makes your job increasingly more difficult. Without the leadership there, it makes it increasingly more difficult. And something I don't know that I talked about in that last video that was hard but didn't lead to me leaving, we lost 6 boys to gun violence in a 12-month period. And all of that weighing was just above and beyond what I could handle by myself. All of this to say, and I may have mentioned this before, I felt like God was pushing me into something else, that God wanted me to work on this, what I'm doing here, more. Because if I could help more teachers, then I could help more students. So with all that, and with a number of other decisions that my school made that I won't go into, but really challenged my values, I didn't think served students or the community that we were working with at large, I decided to leave that school. And in this last 3-year absence, I've poured myself into this Real Rap with Reynolds business that I've created. I've put out more content than ever. I have started creating resources and promoting my book and speaking all over the country and creating live workshops for everything from classroom management to lesson planning, and then teaching those and helping folks for all over the world through those programs and mentoring and everything else. But last year, there was a shift. My kids' school reached out and they needed subs. And I know, as being a teacher, it's really hard to find good subs. So I thought, well, let me give this a shot. I'll go in and sub. So I subbed all this last school year, everything from 5th grade through 12th grade. And I just forgot almost how important that connection with young people is to me. And that when I was going to all these different classes and teaching all these different subject matter, it was really, the thing that really hit me was that was a part of me that was missing, was dealing with young folks. After subbing for a week, I was pulled aside by admin and I was told in their words, they said, we're not sure what you're doing, but like all the kids are talking about your class. And I don't know, I just kept going for the year. And when the end of the year came, I was again pulled into the office by administration. And in their words, they felt that part of the school was doing excellent, that their teachers in their high school departments were doing all that they could, but that there was going to be an opening for an English teacher. And they said I could pick any grade that I wanted between 6th and 11th grade. And that what they told me was you can do whatever you want. You can teach whatever content that you want, that you think is important. You can teach that content in whatever way you think is the best way. And one more time, I'll say it in their words. They said, metaphorically, we think our high school needs an energy boost. We need to blow the cobwebs and the dust out and have someone really come in with your type of energy, my type of energy, and do what you do. Now, I looked back at the admin and said, I don't know if you know what you're really saying to me, what you're really giving me license for here, but I'm gonna go with your offer. And I signed up. I'm gonna be teaching next year 10th grade and 11th grade English, which are 2 classes I've taught before, but it has been some time. 9th grade is my through line always. I had considered teaching 2 younger grades. I was going to teach 7th and 8th grade. next year. But to be honest, my son and daughter, Brody and Marley, are in 10th and 11th grade next year. And they basically told me that, look, you've been teaching everybody else's kids for 20 years. Can you please teach us? And that, I'll tell you, one is exciting to me, but two is a little daunting because I think they live a little bit with the legend of dad and they don't know what the day-to-day looks like. They don't know there's actual work involved. I actually am that strict that I seem like I am, and I don't play around, and I hold kids to a high accountability level. And so I'm wondering what that is going to be like. I hope that it's good. But I feel like I'm going back to teaching with a fresh perspective, with a new vision in mind, or rather a clearer vision and a deep and renewed sense of purpose. I really can't wait to see how this next year unfolds. Do the things that I did in Philadelphia work here in New Mexico? Can I take what I did in inner city Philadelphia with the students I worked with, and is it going to work at a rural school here in New Mexico? So make sure you're subscribed, hit the little bell, and keep up with me on this journey if you're interested to see how this goes. I know that some of you are feeling burnout. Some of you are feeling like you need something renewed. Some of you are thinking about going back into teaching. So let's take this journey together. Tomorrow I get to go to my classroom and check it out for the first time. It is 4 square walls. There are no windows in there from what I understand. I have almost nothing from my old classroom. I couldn't bring all of that stuff. So when I left my classroom, I put all of that stuff in storage, from the big lockers that I had to the driftwood tree to all the flying books and floating bookshelves. And so I have to either make stuff new or just recreate some of what I used to have. But this is all new. It's new subject matter. It's new grade levels. It's new classroom design and decor. It's a new neighborhood in a different part of the country and a different me after 3 years. I plan on making content around this for the entire summer. If there's something in particular that you'd love to see, drop it in the chat below. But this is going to be the classroom build out, the design, the lesson design, how I'm rolling things out. It's going to be students on here again, as I already have permission from the school to do that. But I hope to share as much as I can in real time with you all as the summer goes on and I'm prepping my classroom, and then into next year as I get back into this again. Again, let me know what you want to see in the comment section below. And look, pick another video here to watch that YouTube thinks that you might desire, or purchase that book over there. I'm not sure what side it's on. Anyway, that's it for this time, guys. I will see you next time. Peace.